Hi and welcome to Health Trust TV. I'm Paloma Cano and today we'll be discussing how to stay healthy on a budget. My co-host Adam Morrella will join Cindy McCown of Second Harvest Food Bank to learn more about how to sign up for the SNAP program. But first, I'd like to welcome the Executive Director of Verde, Raul Lozano.
Nice to be here.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Verde.
So Verde was incorporated about 2.5 years ago, something like that. Yeah, about 2.5 years ago. I started the program before that, a couple of years before that. The economy had just crashed. You know, the housing issues had just, or the housing had how it affected the economy had just crashed. A lot of people were having a really difficult time feeding themselves, in particular low-income families. Mm-hmm. So I had gone through the Master Gardener program. I've been gardening for like 10 or 15 years. And I live in a depressed Latino neighborhood, and so I thought, you know, why don't I teach my neighbors how to grow their own food, which reduces costs and then really kind of makes affordable, fresh, organic vegetables available to them and for their children, which is really important to me. So I designed a program to actually work with 100 families. And so when I designed the program, I really didn't know a lot about the urban agricultural environment and stuff. I just came up with this idea, and I made an appointment with Fred Ferreira at the Health Trust and basically gave him an overview of this vision I had, and he just thought it was a good idea and was the first funder of the program.
Wow, that's great.
And once we were able to raise the rest of the money, we worked with 100 families in the beginning. So fast forward 2 years later, I wrote up a business plan because I recognized a lot of possible revenue generation models that we could employ to keep the organization self-sufficient, mm-hmm. and not rely too much on outside funding. Hopefully that's the plan. And so we wrote up a business plan, and again, the Health Trust funded that part of the writing of the business plan, and then decided to kind of go out on our own, and we started Verde. So we incorporated. We're a 501c3 now, and we tweaked the program a little bit because we learned we keep trying to employ best practices in what we're doing in the program. So now we work with cohorts of 30 families, classroom size. And that way we are able to provide more support for these families that are in the program and shepherd them through the whole 12-month program to learn how to grow organic vegetable gardens.
So you work with low-income families.
That's right.
So how do these low-income families sign up for Verde?
So what we do is we develop relationships with nonprofits or schools or churches that are actually in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And we work with them to get the word out about what we're doing and to identify low-income families. So once a family is identified, as long as they have enough space in their in their house to plant a garden, and they're low income, they're in. So they don't have to own the home. They don't. It doesn't have to be. It could be an apartment as long as they have the space. And so once the family is identified, we actually enroll them at that time. So we ask a lot of questions about who they are, what kind of vegetables they like to eat, what kind of experience do they have in terms of gardening. We also ask them, you know, we determine where the garden will be, you know, according to how much sun they get at their home. A good garden, to produce a good harvest, you need at least 6 hours of sun. Okay. So that's something that's really important. And once all that stuff, all that information is taken down, then they're enrolled. And what happens after that? They start attending classes once a month. So the families will attend a class, let's say on composting, on beneficial insects, on soil enrichment. And we do all this stuff in English and in Spanish.
Oh, that's great.
So the families come, they learn, and then they plant their spring garden in April. Mm-hmm. And we provide the raised bed, the soil, the drip irrigation system.
So you provide everything.
Everything. And the families are required to come to the classes. If they don't come to the classes, they don't receive their materials. So all of 60 families that are enrolled in the program right now will all plant the same day.
Wow.
Because we go visit them once a month after they plant and answer any questions they might have about issues in their garden. And if all of them are planted the same seedlings, and at the same time they're all kind of growing, we can really kind of provide better support that way.
Great. And so if you're not of low-income family, you can purchase, I understand, you can purchase a garden, a backyard garden from Valley Verde?
Absolutely. That's one of our revenue generation models, is that we, on our website, if you go to our website, and if you, let's say if you're an engineer at one of the Silicon Valley companies and you really want a backyard garden but you don't have enough time to actually build one and install it yourself, you can go to our website and actually buy one from us. And there's different price points. So we have a wine barrel garden, which is a really small one, would be good for an apartment or something like that, for $85, and we deliver it and we give you the soil for the wine barrel. And then there's a 4x4 raised bed, which is a smaller one for maybe, you know, like a duplex or an apartment or home. And those cost $300. And then we have the 4x8 raised beds. And we use untreated lumber, redwood, so they'll last about 10 years. Oh. We use organic soil.
Great.
We put
and you provide all that stuff?
All that. And we put a drip system in there to manage water to make it efficient. And what happens is that you go on our website, it has a link to our PayPal account, you pay online. I go make a home visit, do an assessment at your home, say, well, we think the garden would go best here. It'll get the best sun. We send a crew, they go and install it. And what's good about it is that I hire family members in our program that are unemployed. So they get a day's wages, and we pay a living wage. And all the profits from that installation go to help more families.
Great. Thank you so much, Raul, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
If you want to purchase a garden from Valley Verde, be sure to visit www.valleyverde.org. Now let's send it over to Adam at Second Harvest Food Bank.
Thanks, Paloma. I'm here at Second Harvest Food Bank of Santa Clara, and joining us today is Vice President of Programs and Services, Cindy McCown. Hello, Cindy, and thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, Second Harvest Food Bank is a very popular organization here in the Valley, and it's well known for its food drives. But you also offer an invaluable program called SNAP. So, for those of us that don't know about it, can you tell us about SNAP?
Well, the SNAP program is actually known as CalFresh in California. Not only does the food bank do food drives, but we actually are serving about 250,000 people a year, wow. and that's on actually a monthly basis as well. Mm-hmm. So huge amount of people that we're serving, not only with the CalFresh program, but other food services.
Okay, so who's eligible for SNAP?
People who are very low income. So to give you an example, a household of 3, their income needs to be below gross income about $2,100 a month.
Okay.
And then they also have to meet other criteria.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to apply for the program, how do I go about doing that?
You could apply with some of the food bank staff. We have a team of outreach workers who actually go out into community centers, libraries, variety of places where people could actually go. They could also call the food bank's 1-800 number. So they could call 1-800-984-3663. That is a multilingual hotline where they not only can let them know where their application clinics for the CalFresh program, they could also pre-screen a person. Okay. If that person's not eligible for CalFresh, they could also let them know about other food services that are offered by the food bank.
Okay, so if they do apply and they set up an appointment, what type of documents do they need to bring?
What they need to bring is a documentation that shows their income. So it could be a paycheck stub if they're on disability, a disability statement. They also have to show proof of housing so that they're a resident, and then also identification. It could be a government-issued identification card, a driver's license, but something like that.
Okay, so once applied, how long does it take to start receiving SNAP benefits?
Well, once a person gets all their documentation in, and that's key, then about 30 days.
Okay. Now, once I've applied and I've got the SNAP benefits, where can I use these benefits at?
This is the beauty of this program. You can use the CalFresh benefits at grocery stores. You can use them at farmers markets, literally thousands of places. If you are a disabled individual or elderly person, there are authorized actually restaurants that you could go to as well.
That's great. That's great. Now, I also understand that you guys deliver fresh produce once a month to underserved communities free of charge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the food bank has a variety of distribution points where fresh fruits and vegetables are distributed, and people can call, again, that 1-800 number, 1-800-984-3663, and find out locations throughout the valley.
Okay.
We basically serve from Gilroy South up to South San Francisco. The produce distributions are typically between Monday and Saturday, and some are in the morning, some are in the afternoon, some are in the early evening. So a variety of different days and times throughout the week.
That's great. So where does this food actually come from?
The food comes from packers, growers, farmers. We work with the California Association of Food Banks, and they not only work within California but neighboring states. And what we try to do is really garner a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. We also have local people who have fruit trees.
Oh, wow.
And they pick them and bring them down to one of our 3 locations where they
great.
drop it off as well. So huge variety of produce in a lot of different places it's coming from.
That's great. So the mobile staff that's operating the program, are these volunteers or are these employees?
Combination. We are very, very efficient, and so what we try to do is really maximize the use of volunteers. So actually at the, let's say, produce distribution sites, those are primarily volunteers.
Oh, wow.
And we then partner with community partners who might be staff or they might be paid volunteers as well. And what we try to do is co-locate. So not only could you go to a produce distribution site, but you also could maybe go to a site that's having our CalFresh outreach workers. So you could actually not only get food, but also get the CalFresh benefits. And the reason why those benefits are so important, that same family of 3, the maximum benefit for them could be up to $497 a month.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so it's huge.
Wow. So
Huge.
if I wanted to find out where these mobile sites are located, how would I go about doing that?
You'd call the food banks,
Call the food
1-800 number, 984-3663, and they would be able to let you know what day and time, not only for the produce distributions, the CalFresh, but also other food distribution sites.
Awesome. So now if I wanted to volunteer to be part of the program, how do I find out how to do that?
You could actually go to the food bank's website and you could be able to access that, and we would be able to, then you could see if that's a volunteer opportunity that might meet your schedule and your desires.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. That was some great information. We want to thank you for joining us on the Health Trust TV. Everyone, be sure to stay tuned because coming up next we have a savory cooking segment, but first let's throw it to Alana with one of her healthy choice segments.